All right, so I finally got to watch Beau is Afraid. I say got to watch. I finally sat down and put myself through it. It's a long movie. Um 3 hours and change, especially when you include all the trailers and stuff. It's like a 4-hour trip to the theater. Anyways, Beau is Afraid is Ari Aster's third movie after he did Hereditary and Midsummer. It kind of follows suit in my opinion. There's been a gradual, I don't know what you call it, like, it's headed this direction for quite some time. You learn a whole lot about Ari Aster in this movie. I think you learn about him a lot watching all three of them. If you pay attention, you'll see there's a lot of uh, mommy issues. There's a lot of familial like problems and things. But we all have that. He expresses his through film. I do mine through artwork and music and just 75-hour work weeks. But I'm going to talk about the movie a little bit. There is going to be a few spoilers, I would imagine, in this. So if you're not interested in hearing any kind of spoilers at all, I would go ahead and leave now and come back when you are. I just wanted to give you a heads up. I just wrote some notes down. I'm going to talk about it for a few minutes. I don't plan on making this a long video. You've already spent enough time uh, with the character if you watch the movie. But Beau is Afraid is about a middle-aged man who's trying to make it home to his mother, to see his mother for something, and then she tragically passes away, and he has to go to do like funeral stuff, and it's about the journey. He's a super high-strung, paranoid, worried, honestly kind of unintelligent, bad luck. I mean, he's an interesting character, but you if you can't relate to him in some way, I just don't believe that. It's got a little something for everybody in it. I'm super high strung. I over worry a lot. I get worried real quick. And it's stressful for people I'm around. And I overcommit to things. I don't know, man. I felt a kinship to his character while at the same time being extremely angered while at the same time being extremely angry at him. He was a very much a beta. He drove me nuts. Um, the opening of the movie, though, it was absolutely hilarious, and I knew it was a birth. I don't even know how. I think the lady screaming gave it off, and I saw the slit on the screen, and I just started laughing out loud. This movie was funny from the jump. I thought the whole movie was pretty funny, and I was the only person in my theater laughing. And there was only about, I think, a handful of us in there, maybe 6 or 7 people, and I was the only person laughing through the whole film. It blew my mind. And in the film, Joaquin Phoenix, he looks so disheveled and unhealthy. I was legitimately worried about his well-being just off, like right off the jump, like immediately. He kind of reminds me of my son a little bit. At least at the very beginning of the movie, he did. Towards the end, not so much. But at the beginning of the movie, there's a lot of things about him that reminded me of my oldest child. And I think maybe because my oldest is on the spectrum, there's just some things in this character that could possibly be signs of that or whatever. I don't know. It's very late right now. I'm a little tired, but I wanted to get this not over with. I wanted to get it done because I've been wanting to talk about this movie for a little while. Um, I just had so much bad luck. This city is like a caricature of Detroit. I mean, there's just honestly, it felt like Third Ward Houston to me a little bit too. Just watching it, a little brighter, a little whiter even, but it felt like it, man. People doing wild stuff. Nakedness, a naked man trying to stab people was kind of wild. And this guy's paranoid on a different level. And he's a straight up hot mess, man. Like he thinks everybody's out to get him. And some of them are, some of them aren't. But you can't tell what's true, really happening, and what's not. It's hard to figure out if this is a dream or if it's real. This movie is definitely interesting. And I do believe that I'm going to have to watch it another time or two. And that kind of stresses me out a little bit. And I was wondering if this was all just a mental illness thing. I don't know. There's a part in the movie where he's in a bathtub and like, I don't even remember how he got in the bathtub. Oh, he's just taking a bath and he like looks up and there's a guy like hovering above him on the ceiling and he's dripping sweat like on his face. It was so disgusting. It was absolutely repulsive. And how long was that guy up there? Like, I don't know. This movie is insane. And I want to reiterate the fact that the naked stabber guy was absolutely amazing and probably my favorite part of the movie because it's so insane that you're like, surely that's not a real thing, right? No, dude, that happens. I've seen people on particular substances walking down the street naked as a jaybird, man, just walking out. Do, 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 do. There's cryptic messages all throughout this movie with no explanation. Um, oh, the girl that he meets on the boat, like his true love. She really reminds me of a girl that I knew. I'm not going to get into names or anything, but man, I'm watching it going, yeah, I knew her. As a matter of fact, I can give you a little bit of information because it wasn't a weird, negative, sad or bad story. It was young love, man. That's one of the reasons why it reminded me of her so much is because I was also young, and in this part of the movie, he's young. But I met a girl at a summer camp, and we were only there for 2 weeks, and man, it was heartbreaking leaving her. But it was one of the few memories outside of having my wife where the woman or the girl or whatever didn't just completely shatter me. So I do appreciate that memories. She was really nice. I don't remember her name even, to be honest with you. So, but I was riding my bike one time to go and play, like I guess play with her, hang out with her. We were young, like 12. We were gonna go hang out, and I was riding with her on this like mountainy thing. It was like I don't know what it was. It wasn't a mountain, but it was definitely out in the wilderness. And so I had her on the inside by like the wall, kind of. I was on the outside, and the ground just gave out, and I just went tumbling down like 15 feet, and it messed me up so bad. Anyways, back let's get back on track with Beau Is Afraid. That's how this movie is, man. You just start changing topics, things start happening. They start talking about this. He goes back to this. Uh, he gets hit by a car and his family takes him in and they start like trying to help him and rehabilitate him and get him to his mom's house, and it's all super stressful and everything gets put off a bunch. And but they have a daughter who is just weird and mean, and as soon as I saw her I knew something bad was going to happen, like pertaining to her. And dude, it was kind of jarring. The more I think about it, the more I think that it was kind of a jarring scenario where she drinks this paint and kills herself, and he gets blamed for it. And these people that were really nice and caring to him suddenly hate him. Oh, dude, the movie is very stressful. It didn't stress me out specifically, but I watched it knowing that it was going to be like this, and I think I just kind of I I thrive in chaos, and so this movie was honestly more comfortable for me than I was expecting, and I do believe it's because I'm able to thrive in chaos. Like, when there's a situation that is just insane, I tend to do okay. When I overfill my plate with things I gotta do, I tend to, uh, excel at it and do well and achieve things that I wasn't gonna achieve otherwise, and so I felt comfortable in this movie, which is strange. But I think your normal person would walk into this theater and leave it like, "Whoa, what did I just watch?" and have, like, anxiety. But the end of the movie, it's really long, man. It could have been a lot shorter. I don't think it could have been, like, an hour and a half shorter. Like, it couldn't be cut in half. It's 3 hours and, like, 6 minutes or something, right? I think it could have been 40 minutes shorter and still had almost the exact same experience. But there were scenes in it where I disagree with my buddies. They're saying that you needed him to hold and make it more stressful. I don't necessarily agree with that, but that's very subjective. So they could very well have the better opinion. I don't know. I think they could have cut the scenes, a lot of the scenes in the movie, but it was just so long. I do think the pacing was solid though. I went into this movie thinking I was going to hate it, and I don't hate it. I think I actually kind of like it, which is strange. I didn't expect to, so I'm glad. I'm glad I like it. I'm gonna watch it again. My opinion of it is already better than it was when I watched it. I think that I don't get the hype though. I don't think it's this masterpiece, and I don't think it's as weird as everybody else is saying. I do think you should go see it. So I'm gonna shut up and get off of here and let you go watch this movie. Check out Beau Is Afraid, third film by Ari Aster. I'm gonna give it, like, I think I was doing like a 2.5 out of 5 stars on Letterboxd. I'm gonna go ahead and already raise that up to a 6.5 out of 10. I don't know how much higher it's gonna go than that because the runtime is a serious issue for me, and I think that's up to you whether or not that's something that bothers you. So for me, it does, and I'm gonna leave it at that. Good movie though. Go check it out. It's well acted, and I wouldn't call it amazing. I didn't understand how the cinematography was getting all the praise it was getting, but the visual, like, it's just as far as like what you saw was cool. I like the sets. I like the acting. I don't know. The scenarios were pretty funny. There's lots of comedy in this, man. This is a very dark movie. Although there's one part with a giant penis, I thought it was stupid. And then the end of the movie really bothered me. I thought it was real dumb. But it does leave a lot of questions to be answered, and I think that's the whole point, is to want you to ask questions and talk about it. I think this is a film that is made solely for the purpose of us to sit here and talk about it. I don't think he made it for him. I think he made it for us to talk about. Like, what's happening right now? Everybody's talking about this movie. I work at a theater. Everybody's talking about this movie. It may not be making all the money back, but people are talking about it, and that matters more than money at the end of the day. And in the long term, talk is better than money. Money can get remade, but legacy is important. So BEAU is Afraid. Go check it out. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Have a nice day. Peace.